Hi, I'm John. This is my show of Sports Reckoning, and this is a group of Satan worshiping losers. I gotta make myself laugh and shit, right? Because, it's like there's so much shit going on that is so serious and stuff, right? And it's like that stuff needs to be dealt with on a serious issue and stuff, right? But that doesn't still mean that I don't laugh and joke around and stuff, right? But anyways and shit, right? Okay, so what had happened is, now this sports card therapist guy, I'll tell you straight out, I barely know who you are because I think you do something on Dustin's page and shit, right? So I know I've seen you one time, and you said some shit about positivity, right? And it's like, I'm offended by people that try and tell me to be positive and shit, because like I said, in my new video where I was blasting John Mangini for being a Satan worshiper, and when I blasted him as being a Satan worshiper, it's because he came out with a positivity. He was doing this inspirational speech, and what he did was Satan worship. It's conjuring black magic and making deals, and that's not a joke. I'm like, when I'm saying that, that's not a joke. He conjured fucking Satan. He made a deal he performed black magic, and that's what he fucking did, right? So there's some times where it's like, I blast motherfuckers and shit, right? Because I've come into the sports card community as genuinely a massive sports fan, right? And then I'm also a card collector, but I have the same story. I collected in the 80s. My story sucks though, because my card collection from the 80s, I sold my whole collection, right? So I don't have my collection, and I had everything. In the 80s, I had basically all, except I didn't have a Jordan rookie because I was collecting baseball and stuff, right? So basically every rookie, like even I had the 84 Don Mattingly, I had the 86 rated rookie Jose Canseco, so I mean, I had some good cards and shit, right? And the ones I get mad at is because my first year I was collecting was 83, right? And then so the Wade Boggs and the Tony Gwynn of the 83 and shit. And then those were cards that, man, I used to buy them up from people. And so, like, I had at least 10 of each of those. It was one of those things, having large numbers of the rookies, where you'd have your sheet and you'd have a whole sheet of the rookies and shit. That was something I really liked to have and stuff, right? Okay, but I had to sell my cards and shit, right? And it's like, just real life shit, it's like, the motherfuckers, it's like, if I get into my real life and tell you, like, and it's weird because I feel like, it's really weird because I feel like I had an alright life, right? But when I actually look at it and stuff, and it's like, damn, I don't know, maybe my life was a lot more fucked up than what I thought, but I wasn't getting beaten, right? I wasn't getting beaten, I wasn't getting sexually molested, and there was food. Usually there was kind of food around and shit. It's like when you're a kid and shit, right? You whipping shit up and making stuff. Like, one of those funny stories is like, because I live with my single mom raising 4 kids and shit, right? And so, like, I remember, like, being a kid one time and thinking, there's nothing in the kitchen, right? And then my mom went in there, and boom, she whips up, like, a meal, right? She comes out with, like, food, and I'm like, how the fuck she do that shit, right? Well, there's nothing in there. And she comes out, and she whips up, like, a meal, and it's like, fuck it, that was weird. Like, I remember shit like that happening, just being funny shit that happens with your kid and shit, but I made it. We got by and shit, right? Being poor and shit, it didn't matter. We got by. We still had a good life. I still had fun. I was able to collect sports cards and shit, and if I needed a skateboard, somehow I was able to get a skateboard. What the things, if I need a bike, somehow I'd be able to get a bike and shit, right? We'd get some new clothes and shit, and we made it, it's like, just, that's how you get through and stuff. You don't really know how poor you are and shit, right? But there's just a lot of other things that happen too. There's just all kinds of crazy shit, like, just like things like how many of you people, like with my mom one time, we're sleeping, we're in bed, right? We're in our house and shit, and she comes and wakes us up in the middle of the night, wake up, we're leaving and shit, right? So it's like, how many of you people had to deal with, like, just even, like, but that's just, like, just so common. That's the kind of stuff what I'm talking about. Like, when I talk about things in my life, my childhood and stuff, and I don't know, to me that was just so common of a thing that could occur, and that's how, like I said, I wasn't getting, well, actually, the husband that she was married to at the time, that guy, he used to spank us and shit, right? But I don't look bad at that. Like one time I got fucking beat up by the cops, right? I was 17 years old. Now, I got ratted out. I got ratted out by my friend's mom, my stupid friend, stupid long story and shit, right? So it was one of these things that's like, when we went to, it was a stupid thing. We were just going to break into the school gym, and I was what I was kind of going for was a pitching machine, right? They had a pitching machine, and I used to go hit baseballs with my friends all the time, and so that was kind of what in my head what I was going for. I was wanting to steal that pitching machine, but we didn't know the story. Like my friend, he did the stupid shit and told his mom that we were going over there, and then she called the cops on us. So when we got there, and the back door was open. It was broken. That's why we were going there. We weren't going to break in. The back door was opened and shit, right? Because my friend, the one I'm talking about, he played baseball on the school team there. I was a little older in time, but so he was in middle school. It was long. You start getting these stories. They take forever and shit, right? That's kind of one of the reasons why I talk so fast. I go crazy because like, fuck, I just got too much stuff in this, whatever. So I got ratted out. So one of the things when we get there, the door was locked. Okay, but because the cops had locked the door or something, I don't know. But then my other friend, we were criminals at the time and shit. We were stupid criminals. And so my other friend, I don't know, so that he gets a thought in his head, let's break in. And we weren't going there to break in. Somehow we ended up breaking in, right? We break the window. And then so I knew that there was always like a guy that worked there, a janitor guy, even at night and shit. So I was like, oh, let's go search the school and find where the janitor's at and shit, right? Before we break into this fucking place, right? So we walked the whole school. My friend even split up. We split up and searched the whole school. We found the janitor was all on the other side of the school. So then we came back and we actually broke into the place, right? We didn't know the cops were there. They were waiting for us, and they were there the whole time. This is what tripped me out when they started telling us what we were doing. And I'm like in my head, I'm like, wait, you guys were here? You were here the whole fucking time and shit, right? So we heard some noises, so we went out the back door because we went in the front door of the gym, and the front door of the gym, it was like inside the school. There was nobody there, so we were fucked. If the cops would have got us right there, there's nobody around. So we were in a bad spot and shit. And this is in Downey, and a few months after this incident, because they beat us up, a few months after that, a news story had come out about the Downey cops that said, oh, the Downey police officers are wearing these shirts that are inappropriate. And there was two of them. One had something to do with the dog, which I don't remember what it said, but the other shirt said, police brutality, the fun part of the job. Right? This is Downey. This is motherfuckers. And so they're rough. Those Downey cops are fucking rough and shit, right? So, and I'm 17. We're just 17. I'm not even 18 at this time and shit. So we heard something. So we went out the back door. Me and my friend go out the back door of the gym. You know, that's got to be, the gym's probably about 50 yards long. It's pretty big. So we go out the back door. I look around the one corner and there's nobody. And then my friend looks over on the other corner and he goes, cops. And then the big field with the football field and baseball field, that was all there. So we go taking off running through the field because our friend was parked on the other side of the fence and shit. He was waiting for us, just eating some food. Like I said, this was the thing. We weren't really going there. We were criminals at the time, but we weren't going there to be criminals and shit, right? And then so we run out there, and then the cop jumps out, and he says, freeze, or I'll blow your motherfucking heads off. See, we don't know the cops have us around. We don't know what's going on, but they were already there and shit, right? He's like, freeze, or I'll blow your motherfucking heads off, right? So we get down, and then when the cops come up, they don't arrest us. We're just laying on the ground, spread eagle, waiting for, okay, here comes the cops. They don't, but now we're out by the highway. So luckily, we ended up out there by the highway, and so they come up with their mag lights, like those 18-inch mag lights, and just start beating us, right? So boom, 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 what the fuck, motherfuckers and shit, right? But so the cops, they had told us, he says, you're lucky you ended up where you did. He says, if you would have come out that front door, like I said, where we went in, his exact words were, we had a posse waiting for you. And it's like, that's the kind of shit, like I said, weird shit that happens in your life and shit, right? And, but that instant, because I got beat up by the cops at 17, it taught me a lesson. So it's one of those things, it's a fucked up life experience, but I'm not a little bitch, and me personally, I was kind of happy that happened. It taught me a lesson about, whoa, I thought I had to worry about criminals and shit. I didn't know I had to worry about the cops beating the fuck out of me, like in that kind of way. That's like, you don't have no protection. If the people that you're thinking are protecting you are the ones beating you, it was like a wake-up reality call to the fucking real world and shit, right? Like I said, I'm 17, I'm 51 years old. I've had a life experience and shit. Like I said, it's weird shit. I don't really look at things as so bad and shit. Like I said, that one, even though I didn't deserve it and shit, and it was a bullshit, everything was bullshit about it, it was a good thing that happened to me because I didn't want to be a criminal at 18, because now, once you go into the fucking adult criminal system, now you're dealing with a whole different, especially in Los Angeles, right? This is a whole different ballgame of what you're getting involved in and shit, right? So, luckily, you know, I get into the Michael Jackson shit too. It was weird because I'd never been arrested as an adult. I've been a criminal doing stupid shit just because of weed though, because I smoke weed. So back then I was always a criminal and shit, right? But yeah, so then the only time I got arrested again as an adult happened to be like a couple days before Michael Jackson died. And then so I got out and so then that night was a bad night. It was a weird, trippy thing. I was dealing with a lot that when I got out and shit and what I was dealing with, the reality of the world, I really had a bad night. It was like one of these worst nights of my life, right? And then the next day, Michael Jackson dies. So it was actually that same, I was paralleling the time of when Michael Jackson was going through the experience of when he was dying. I was dealing with the same issues in my life, this really weird thing. And then so it was weird because how it was rolled into now, how I'm the person making the Michael Jackson discovery of who he really is, that his real parents are Diana Ross and Smokey Robinson. And there's no doubt about it. I challenge every stupid motherfucker, and this is why I yell at everybody, because if you don't understand the importance of my story, you're not qualified to be any form of reporter or news person, and that's where Dustin comes into the play and shit, right? So it's not, I'm not here yelling at Dustin because he's, like you were saying something like thinking that I look at Dustin and think that he must be part of this Illuminati because he's got a subscriber. It has nothing to do with that. I look at Dustin as a person who's doing news upon the sports card and collectibles community, and he refuses to talk about my Michael Jackson story when I present evidence to him, make videos for him. So that's when I'm telling you what a fraud loser he fucking is. I know he's a fucking loser. He's a fraud. He's a yes man. Yes man. Yes master sir. I be good slave sir. What would you like me to do for you sir? Okay, I'll do it all for you, right? So I despise fucking loser scumbags like that. And then what I say is because people that are Christians, like I follow God. And I will explain to you, I can explain to you in much more detail, and I'm not this kind of loser that says, oh, well, the Bible says this. Oh, well, the Bible says that. Oh, yeah, I got a brain, motherfucker, and I says this. So fuck all you stupid loser shit. Because what the Bible actually is Satan wrote the fucking Bible. You dumb motherfuckers that believe in Jesus, you don't know anything about God. You don't have any understanding of what your fucking purpose is and how you arrived here as a planet, what your purpose is of a human. You are ignorant fucking slave moron, satanic worshiping losers. Right? And if you dare me to fucking challenge me and want me to prove it to you, I will fucking prove it to you, and you will fucking fold, and you will never talk about me. You will act like I don't exist because you are all fucking beneath me, loser fucking bum ass bitches. And I don't know how much fucking clearer I gotta make it. I step up to any one of you dumb motherfuckers and challenge you, hit you with fucking hard evidence, and you will not do anything. You will act like you are superior, that you are the sports card community, that I don't belong here, my voice doesn't exist, and you will fucking not acknowledge me at all. And then so, oh, you want to treat me like that, motherfucker? You want to act like you're a reporter, Duster, and you refuse to report upon my story? And that's when I say he's in dereliction of his duty because he's withholding valuable information that he knows is right here. Fucking Flippin' Steve is one of my big supporters of my story, who totally endorses my fourth story, who actually watches my other page, my Michael Jackson page, An American Scheme. I'm not here to do publicity and shit because I don't give a fuck about you losers. I will do what the fuck I do, regardless of who the fuck you are, regardless of how you fuckers participate and do any assistance in helping me at all. Fuck you. I will do what the fuck I'm gonna do. You don't mean nothing. You can either participate and be part of something special, or fuck you. That's how I am. I get angry real fucking quick because I fucking deal in a world where I'm cool as fuck. I'm the coolest, most fucking chillest person that you will ever fucking meet. I respect everybody. I treat people with respect, and I get no fucking respect and appreciation back. So I don't fucking, so fuck you then. Fuck you. So fuck all you motherfuckers. I go off real fucking quick. Motherfuckers. So what had happened, so I think I was saying something about sports cards therapist. I'd seen you one time and you're talking your positivity bullshit. So stick your fucking positivity, fake ass bullshit up your fucking ass. Fuck that shit. I don't tolerate that loser positivity, fake fucking bullshit. You are fucking Satan worshiping losers to me. If you fucking claim, I'm a Christian, I can't stand when I hear every single stupid motherfucker out there yelling at the LGBTQ, and I'm like, yeah, get them motherfuckers. That is scumbag bullshit. But then they come right back and then they tell me the same shit over and over. Oh, but the only way that you can get into heaven, you gotta follow God, and the only way to get to heaven is you gotta worship Jesus Christ. And then I'm like, God damn, you are fucking losers. You're not allowed to fucking make that statement. You cannot be a child of God and tell people around the world that they can't go meet God unless they fucking know Jesus. Fucking, that is the stupidest, dumbest fucking ignorant story that there is out there. Satan wrote the Bible, you dumb motherfuckers. Jesus doesn't come from God, comes from Satan. Satan was alive in the presence of fucking God and learned his teachings. God, and Satan uses those teachings to manipulate us and gain trust from us. That's why there is quality fucking teachings in the Bible. But Satan doesn't give a fuck about how much of God's actual advice and lessons he gives you, as long as you bow down and worship fucking Jesus like a slave moron loser. Because what happens? You can't read the Bible unless you believe, and then it leads you to Jesus. That's how like the Bible goes. And so that it's the trick. It's a trap. Okay, so I got all these idiots out here acting like they're good people. Oh, we're such good people. We're such caring people. You are bowed down, worshiping the fucking child of Satan, the creation of Satan, Jesus, loser. You are frauds. You can't think for yourselves. Every word you spout is, well, the Bible says this. Oh, yeah? Take the Bible out of the fucking world and then tell me what the fuck. Explain shit to me then, you dumb motherfuckers. Who are you without the book? Oh, well, God gave me a book. God gave me an instruction manual. God, you are the dumbest fucking losers. Can't think for yourself, right? So that's what I deal with when I'm dealing when I come out just calling you fucking Satan worship. That's what it's about. Nothing to do with some fucking Illuminati. Dude, Dustin ain't no goddamn Illuminati. Gary V is Illuminati. Okay, you think I'm stupid enough to compare some loser like Dustin to Gary V? Come on. He's a nothing. And that's what I say. He's such a nut that he bows down and he refuses to talk about a real news story. My news story. He refuses to talk about it, right? But he wants to be Gary V. That's the other thing. The reason Dustin came in here and him and the come on your back card investor, the reason that they were in here and shit is because Gary V influenced him to come in here, and Gary Vee told him, you gotta be nice, and this is the way you gotta lie to the people. Yeah, that's that satanic fucking agenda. Now, you might be influenced by a fucking Illuminati Satan worshiper, but you're just a Satan worshiper. You're not Illuminati and shit, right? All right, motherfuckers. Loser bastard motherfuckers. Okay, so what happened is that Bob Boozle is I don't believe that people are like fans of my shit, and I don't know if they really believe my Michael Jackson shit or if they just enjoy it as an entertainment form and shit, right? It's hard for me to really trust people, right? Because I am the master. I am the fucking highest level and shit. I am the creator and shit. I'm the inventor of the whole fucking thing. I've been doing this for shit for years and years and years. So you motherfuckers, I have challenged every single Michael Jackson fan there is. Anyone that has a brain and it's the same shit, they all block me. That's what they can't talk about my shit. They refuse. It's like, dude, if my shit was so fake and shit, it would be so easily to debunk what I'm doing. It would be so easy to overcome if my shit's not real. Because if Michael is a Jackson, God, the evidence and the piles and the reality of the evidence of what would exist from him being part of that family, there's no way that I could overcome that. And I'm telling you, you do not know what the fuck you're dealing with. I have destroyed and demolished all of them. Nobody will stand up to me. Nobody. I fucking decimate. I destroy. But I'll come in and I'll be nice. If you want me to be nice, I could be nice and talk to you like a nice little baby and shit. You want me to talk to you like a girl? Hey, sexy. Yeah, what you doing over there, girl? Why don't you come on over here and sit on my lap and shit, right? Yeah, come on, hang out with us, girl. Ah, shit, right? So, the other two dudes at the bottom, just so you know, I don't know those guys. And the only reason I know Sports Card Theorist is because I heard you say that stupid positivity thing on Dustin's show. Other than that, I really don't know you guys. Because, just by mentioning your sports card, the cards you were showing there in the beginning was cards that I did like. Like the Eric Dickerson. Now, you said it was a reprint, Eric Dickerson, I think. So I was like, oh, fuck that, you know. But Eric Dickerson, I grew up in L.A. Like, the first full season that I remember watching was the year that Eric Dickerson broke the single-season rushing record, right? So that's a super big deal to me. I liked Eric Dickerson and shit, right? So I liked your Eric Dickerson card. And you were talking about, like, Sport Card Thursday, you said you had never seen that show, The Stranger Things. Okay, I've never seen Stranger Things, right? But you were saying something, you like shows like that. So I wonder, it's like, maybe you watch some of the shows like on HBO, Carnival. Did you see fucking Carnival? Mine is Rome. I love Rome because that even came out before The Wire. I love The Wire and shit, right? But Rome is the show that's like my favorite. And it was sad because the Titus Pulo, the character in Rome, he was one of the Roman legionnaire guys and shit. So Titus Pulo was his character name. I don't know his real name and shit, but I know he just died and shit, right? And he was just under 60 years old and shit, right? But so Titus Pulo, if you know Rome, and it's like Titus Pulo just died, so that was sad because so like when he's talking about Stranger Things, to me I'm like, Rome, fucking Rome. That's the one that's like, but it's not big like fan favorites, the autograph stuff. It's not all that stuff. But it's like, you want to talk about a quality and I could show you right now. I have the season, both the 2 seasons on DVD and shit. I have Rome and shit. That's something I have it because it's like that's the best fucking shit ever and shit. Now, The Wire was great and it lasted a lot more seasons. So The Wire is fucking awesome. And I've seen all that shit when it happened and shit, right? But the shows like Carnival, that's one that's like what I think Stranger Things is and stuff and how it is and stuff, it's like, okay, I'm sure it's cool and whatever and stuff, but Carnival, and it's because it's not Carnival, it's Carnival. That was the way, from what I remembered, how they said it. But Carnival that was on HBO, that's my kind of shit. Highest intellectual, real fucking deep shit, fucking hardcore. Carnival was the fucking shit. I loved Carnival and shit, right? But anyway, so we're moving past this, and let me just show you. I think I pulled up a little piece here. You were going to be talking something.
So cousins, before you guys came on, we were just talking about how Dustin is Satan and how there's some content creators out there, or should I say, like, I don't know, they're not really hobby watchdogs, but they're like, I don't know, content watchdogs. I don't know. And some people think that he's Satan. So, I think that when people start to discover when people start
now he's going to go, this is the kind of thing, now you're going to come up with your idea of what I am and what I'm doing and shit. You don't know shit, right? This is the kind of thing I deal with in the Michael Jackson community. They start coming up with heads. I swear to God, these motherfuckers, they hear about my story, then they come up with the reason how I created my story, and then they debunk their reason of how my story got created, and they think they debunked my story. Like, weird fucking shit. This is, they won't, but it's like, here, now let me show you. I actually just show people, okay, what happened, I was mentioning, I don't know if I mentioned you, Bob Boozle. I was mentioning Bob Boozle. So Bob Boozle told me, he's a person that likes, or he comes around my page, but he also comes around my Michael Jackson page, right? So he knows that I do that, and he has been watching some of those videos too. So whether he likes my story or not, I'm sure that he knows some of the actual information and stuff, right? He knows that I am actually showing evidence and stuff, that I actually do stuff like that, right? So Bob Boozle mentioned to me that you guys just mentioned me on your show. So I found that, but I don't have time to watch all this stuff right now. I'm kind of busy and stuff. I even rant and I'm talking too long because it's hard for me to make these short, dumb videos because I have stuff to talk about. But so he had mentioned that one of you people that you guys started talking about Michael Jackson, saying you were big Michael Jackson fans or stuff, right? Okay, so it's like, okay, you cannot be a Michael Jackson fan and not like my story. I've named Billie Jean. Diana Ross is Billie Jean. The actual song Billie Jean, what it's about Diana Ross telling Michael Jackson that she was his real mother when Michael Jackson's like 10, 11 years old. Right after the Jacksons signed to Motown, they moved to LA, and before they got the Havenhurst house and stuff, they were staying at like 2 different houses, like a house, like there's more to it now. I'm always not 100% clear exactly what's happened, but they're staying in a couple different houses, like one of Berry Gordy's is renting a house for him or something, but then they're also staying in Diana Ross's house too. And like that's documented in Michael Jackson's book Moonwalk. And it's also documented that Michael Jackson said that in the Oprah interview at Neverland and shit. He tells you that he was living at Diana Ross's house. So this is well documented stuff. I can show you the evidence. It's not something I'm making up. But like in the book though, Michael says that he says Diana would take me out every day alone over the period of a year and a half while he was living in her house. He says Diana would take me out every day alone, right? And so what happens, like in the song Billie Jean, it says, she came and stood right by me. Then the smell of sweet perfume. This happens much too soon. She called me to her room. Guess what? That's what happens at this time. Like what I'm showing you this video right here. I believe this is 1970 or 1971. So it's right around this time. is when Diana Ross is filming the movie Lady Sings the Blues, and she's playing the character Billie Holiday, and that's the origin for the name Billie, for the Billie Jean character, right? And there's my explanation of Billie Jean is so phenomenally, like, the highest level. It is incredible, and it has me this great appreciation of the true artist of what Michael Jackson actually is from my experience in doing this stuff. It's incredible and shit, right? But so the story, like I said, it says in this song, Billie Jean, she came and stood right by me. See, she's in charge. The woman's in charge. She came and stood right by me to smell the sweet perfume, because that's Diana Ross. She's always smelling a sweet perfume. That's like a descriptive word about her. Plus, the first line of Billie Jean is, she was more like a beauty queen from a movie scene, because Michael Jackson knew Diana Ross is from the Supremes, but at the time when she tells him that she's his mother, she's playing that character, Billie Holiday, and she's more like a beauty queen from a movie scene. That's because she's starting in the movie. That's I can explain all this stuff in extreme detail and shit, right? And if you don't appreciate it, then that's when I say you are a fraud. That's why I come blasting on motherfuckers and shit, right? Because I don't tolerate these loser motherfuckers. I have no appreciation for them, and I lose all respect and shit, right? Like Dustin. Dustin is very well aware of who the fuck I am. He knows that Flipping Steve endorses my fucking story and is investigated. I've made multiple videos for Dustin showing him actual fucking evidence, and I still can't get him ever to say, hey people, just so you know, there's a story going on in the sports card community, and then I show them the collectibles. I buy the cards, and I buy the collectibles. I show them the stuff that's out there and the stuff that's available and stuff, right? They still don't get it, and that's why I'm just like, you fucking losers and shit, right? God damn and shit, right? So I've had a good time, too, learning all about the cards and shit. You know, like 1972 Tip Top Bread, 1969 Victoria Vendetten and shit, right? So, like, I learned about all the cards and shit, right? I've learned so much shit about all that stuff, too. So I know a lot, because I know about cards, so I understand what cards to look for and how to learn about that shit. So I knew, you know, so it's crazy shit, right? But so anyway, so Bob Boozle told me you guys were talking about me. And but then he said the thing about Michael Jackson, that one of you guys is a big fan of Michael Jackson, and I didn't find that part in the video yet. I have to watch more of it and stuff, right? But he said one of you was talking that Michael Jackson is real big. So that's why I'm showing you this and shit, right? So I'm going to show you, like, this is just one piece of evidence. But this one piece of evidence, like when I explain it to you about Diana Ross being Billie Jean, about the whole story about Michael living in her house, everything about what's going on, the time and event of where this is occurring, because you got to understand is Diana got pregnant at 13 years old, gave birth to Michael at 14 years old, and gave the baby away because it paralleled with the same time frame of when Smokey Robinson met Berry Gordy. A lot of people think that, a lot of people don't know the history of Motown. And when Smokey Robinson met Berry Gordy, it's in August of 1957. Okay, so Michael's conceived just a few months after that and born a year later. After they meet, this is what happened. And I got Diana Ross on video saying that she's in love with Smokey Robinson at the time, and she's sleeping in Smokey Robinson's house because she's best friends with Smokey Robinson's niece named Sharon Burstyn and shit. Like, I have serious evidence. I have evidence. The document shit, it's hardcore. My story is fucking amazing and shit, right? But so Diana Ross got pregnant, but she's only 13 years old. Berry Gordy's trying to build Motown now with Smokey right after they meet. They're building Motown together. There is no Motown. There's even, like, that's what you see in the beginning. It starts off as Tamla. But even in the beginning, they wanted to call it Anna because there's the Tammy comes from, or the Tamla. Okay, so yeah, first there's the Anna, that's a different thing. But the Tamla originally was going to be called Tammy. And that's because there was a movie called Tammy, is it Tammy's in Love? That's the name of the song. This Tammy's in Love. It's white bread as can be and shit. It's Debbie Reynolds and shit playing this Tammy character, and that's what that was going to be the original name of the company, Tammy. But then somebody else had Tammy Records, right? So he changed it to Tamla. And so this is what I show people too, is like, look at the creation of the Motown Records. It starts off with that Tamley. They're trying to be white bread as can be. The transition into the Motown is a different thing because Smokey Robinson gets Diana Ross pregnant. They coerce her to abandon the child because Joe Jackson and Berry Gordy are the same age and they're friends. They used to fight in the Golden Gloves at the same time. And then after that, they got in the music business. Joe Jackson, his original band that he was doing in the 50s was called the Falcons. And in his band, there was a guy named Pookie Hudson. Pookie Hudson leaves Joe Jackson's band and creates a band called the Spaniels, which is being one of the creative founding members of being accredited of creating the doo-wop style of music. So one of the guys that created the actual sound of doo-wop music was in Joe Jackson's band. And then a few years later, that's when fucking Berry Gordy starts producing doo-wop music and shit, right? And Berry Gordy's a songwriter writing for Jackie Wilson. So I think it's really safe to say that Berry Gordy would have known who Pookie Hudson was of the Spaniels. You know, these are, and Pookie Hudson's from Gary, Indiana. Like I said, he was in Joe Jackson's band. But then you got right above Gary, Indiana, Chicago, the Chicago blues music scene. That's one of the biggest music scenes that there is and shit, right? And I've got documents of, like, one of the first records that Smokey put out was on the Chess record labels. Chess Records is the big blues record label in Chicago and shit. I've got connections with Joe Jackson to Chess Records and shit. That Joe Jackson was friends because he was a guitar player. There's so much shit that was going on within those people before Michael goes to the Jackson family. There's a lot of other history and shit there. Like, I've done a serious investigation. But that's how Michael gets put into the Jackson family. It's because there's a connection between Berry Gordy and Joe Jackson, that they were friends. And that's why Joe Jackson instantly knew when Michael starts singing, he's like, okay, I know what we're doing. We're going to build a band. We're going on the road. We're going to go right to Motown. Because that's where he got the kid from. The kid was given to him from Berry Gordy, and Berry Gordy then built Motown and started flourishing and shit, right? That's why Joe instantly knew as soon as Michael fucking shows down, because the story of the guitar thing is a bullshit story. Like, I can just pick their shit apart. The story of the Jacksons now, because here's the story they tell you about the Jacksons. The Jacksons, they say, when Michael was born, they say, Catherine's mother names Michael. That's the official story. And then they put Michael and then they call him Joe. And it's like, look you're going to tell me that Catherine was pregnant and Catherine and Joe never had a conversation about what the name of their child was going to be? They never had that conversation, right? And then so they say, well, we'll call him Michael. No, Michael's named Michael because the Miracles. If you take the band's name, the Miracles, you can spell Michael from that. That's what it is. Michael the Miracle. Diana named Michael. And then she named him Michael because it comes from the band The Miracles, because Smokey Robinson was his father, Michael the Miracle, because that's what he was. That's how he gets his name. That's my idea of how he got his name. Diana names him Michael. That's why the Jacksons don't have a name ready for him when he's born, because they never were thinking about naming the kid, because it wasn't his fucking kid. So then they come up with this thing. Well, we'll put Joseph's name in the middle name, Michael Joseph and shit, right? But Joseph had never named any of his children before Michael. He's got all these other boys, and Joe's name never appears on any of those boys before that. So I think it's safe to say that Joe fucking didn't want his name and shit. So now I talk too long, my battery's going dead. This is how my videos turn into 60-minute videos and shit. Let me just try and play this, see if I can get it before my battery goes dead. Let me play this for you.
You're awfully big.
I think Morris, I love them. We have one of them in the audience here with us.
Where?
We have Michael Jackson somewhere out there. Is he out there? Where is he? There he is. That's my child.
Hey.
That's Michael.
All alone. No other Jacksons there. That's my child.
You know, remember?
Don't you know anybody? You get a better seat?
He's been incognito.
Yeah, he's always incognito.
You know, they've made me work hard.
Listen what she says.
I want to be something. I mean, I am. Michael has always been like a son or a brother or something to me, and they admire me sort of like, so I try very hard to keep up such an image for them. And when I do a show like this, they usually sneak Michael in. I really didn't know he was going to be here. I heard about it, and I was hoping that he was here, because it makes me a little bit stronger, because I'm doing it basically for him.
See that?
You certainly have that. Added.
Okay, she says, it makes me work a little bit harder because basically I'm doing it for him. She says, I've always been. She says, I've always been. Well, Michael's like a son. Look at how much shit she said there. That's her kid. And look at her. If you can't tell that Michael and her look so much alike. But I've even had this major discovery recently, because I've known that Michael and Diana have the same eyes, but there's actually a condition called sanpaku that they have these eyes. It's extremely, it's a distinctive feature. And I've searched in Diana's family, and in her family it exists on one of her other children, but it doesn't exist at all in the Jackson family. So like, I just want to show you a little piece of evidence. I can just rip this shit apart. Anybody that's not interested in this, you can't call yourself a Michael Jackson fan, and I've had so much fucking resistance from those losers. They can't debunk anything I do. My shit is the real shit, and they can't deal with it, so I yelled at them, fuck all you stupid motherfuckers, right? So I already had dealt with all that shit for years and years before I come over to the sports card community, and then, you know, I was doing the sports cards and stuff, but then it's like, well, I want to talk about my Michael Jackson story over here too and shit, right? And then nobody welcomed me in, and everybody rejected me, and I'm blocked on everybody's pages. So then I fucking got some attitude, and that's what the fuck you get, because now I'm no holds bar. I will destroy you motherfuckers on every fucking fucking level because I'm a better human being than you. I'm better. I'm fucking smarter than you. I'm fucking creative. I have done a story that's above and beyond anything that any of you stupid motherfuckers do. And I get no fucking help, and all I get is resistance from those stupid, satanic, piece of shit losers like Dustin.